Good afternoon, guys. Week 9, we're coming to the end. Was actually, I think, that had the best materials. Week 9 was focusing primarily on social workspace as well as the importance of training and implementing a proper training, and also organization theory of structure and management. Those were all pretty good readings, but me personally, I would say the training one was the most empirically and methodologically efficient article, because it did a great job in explaining why exactly training is important. Because training is not necessarily just, hey, you come in here, come over here, we're gonna teach you this for the first day and that's a training. No, they explain that with training, it has to be consistent. It has to be efficient, and it also has to be constantly practiced over and over again. And that's one aspect of training which I don't think various organizations actually implement. A lot of times, even in my job, which I love about my job, is we have training courses every Thursday, and it is consistent every Thursday. If there's a new material, we have a doctor come in and explain the procedure. If the physical therapist is coming in and we bring in a new physical therapist, we want to know what is that individual's specialty in specific self-oriented procedure, because doctors like to do procedures their own way. They add their own little shift to it. One of our doctors, who is Dr. Lou, he is actually a prominent doctor, and he is well known for his specialty in minimum invasive surgery, spinal surgery, which is very, very hard thing to do, but a lot of people don't understand that. So we understand that each doctors have their own little aspects to it. So that constant training is very important, because you have to understand that the field that you're in is constantly evolving. So therefore, training is important in actually creating a prepared, a safe, and efficient environment space. So that was very important to me, and that was a great reading for me. The other question, which was slightly I don't think I have faced that many needless bureaucracy, but I would say that to a certain extent, there's always seems to be a confrontation within class, I guess work class, and there is work class. They discussed it in the reading also, how some people who are actually getting paid more in salaries are more likely to you know they're not going to hate their job compared to the other one who might be in a social space with somebody who's making more money than them. They say, I hate my job. So by comparison, we always end up in a social space where we always compare ourselves, and we always want to, might feel dissatisfied if we're in the presence of others whose, income may be higher than ours, or even to a certain extent, the work ethic might be completely different. Some people get paid the same and is the same type of, different type of jobs, but one requires less physical labor or less actually workload than the others. Because there are, like in my department, if you look at the PIP department, which is the personal injury protection for motor vehicle accidents, compared to the major medicals, the PIP has to at least handle 100 claims, in order to get at about $100,000. But when you look at a major claim, you could do one major medical surgery that would actually be 100,000 right there. So you can see the difference in work ethics, but that is also compensated based on the bonus checks. So that's, changed differently and calculate differently. But you can see that different in social space. As far as bureaucracy goes, there is a lot of confrontation between the billing department and the front desk. Me personally, which is strange, because I'm not really that, I don't consider myself a social person, but I get along with everyone, and I could go into different social space. And I found myself being the mediator once more between the front desk and the billing department. And also I found myself, morphing and shifting to different departments and being moved around a lot. So, to get a better working environment and more efficient, I end up finding myself being more interpersonal and being more of a coaching type of leader. And it's kind of, it's it's kind of, I would say needlessly. I won't say needless because these things need to be done, you know, and it needs to be it needs to be taken as a priority. What can I do to improve it more? I think one of the things my company could do better, because we do have company outings, but it is optional. You know what I'm saying? So if you could have more of a mandatory company meeting where we all, you know, train together and we all learn these materials together, because the building department is learning these materials, but the front desk isn't. So we know more about the procedures than some of the nurses do, which is kind of strange. Well, as far as the payment and the medical guideline goes, because they know the procedure hands on themselves because they have to learn it and they've seen the doctors in it. But as far as understanding the medical guidelines, the medical records that needs to be we need to know the patient's medical history. We have to know that, we have to obtain that, and we have to learn that at a substantial rate. And we learning this like within about 2 days after seeing the patient. We have to get all those records. So we ourselves get trained to analyze and be able to understand the patient's health coverage as well as their health history and their medical history within just seeing that card and just seeing the new patient package. Well, whereas, you know, the front desk will just be like, okay, we obtain this information, we keep it on record, and they focus more of assisting the doctor. So I feel like what we can do is having an interpersonal, you know, training where we enter department training, where we just go to different departments, have somebody going around. But we can't do that, realistically speaking, on you know, major scale, because jobs need to be done and there's a lot of jobs. So I don't know, maybe you could micromanage that, you know, find a way to put different people in different departments, which I think I am. Yeah. I think I'm that solution maybe. But me personally, I love learning. So I will learn these things just because it's fun, and I get bored if I'm staying in one department anyways. And I'm pretty much comfortable with everyone, and I could talk to everyone. They get comfortable with me very fast, which is very strange. But the issue is, as soon as I move to a different department, and when it's time for, you know, let's say the building department, the pit department, and the research department to get along, which is, I'm part of the pit department, but I'm the supervisor, the medical authorization, also known as the research department. When it's time for them to get along without my presence being around, you could see more issues and it backfires. So maybe you could find a more efficient way, or you know, a different mediator, because let's say, for example, I leave the job. It's going to be more confrontations, and how would that function?